Happy Memorial Day week, everybody. Glad to have y'all back for The Wicked King. I know last week we talked about the Cruel Prince. If you haven't read the first or listened to the first episode of the Cruel Prince series, go ahead and backtrack a little bit and head on back there. Because today we're talking about the second book. How you doing, Kat?
I'm good. I'm excited to be talking about it. I liked this one. I liked the pace. It had a little more action in it.
It was a shorter book, but a lot of interesting things going on. I could argue I like this one a lot more than the first one by far. The first one definitely was setting the scene for the second one by far.
Yeah. I like the way she wrote this one. But
insanity on this one. Absolute insanity on this one.
Yes. I really did like this one. I liked it more. It's a little shorter than the first one. Only a little over 300 pages. So it was a very quick read. I read this in a day.
Yeah. I read this in about, I would say a day.
Like 24 hours. Yeah. Yeah, like I started it a Saturday night and then I finished it a Sunday morning. So
yeah, I started on Sunday, finished it Monday night.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the grow up of all the characters in here. Everybody was scheming. I really enjoyed Maddox change with Jude. That was cool.
Yes.
And we'll get further into the details of all of that, but everybody and their mother was scheming in this book. And everybody had a different plan and everybody had different vies for power.
Yep.
So if you love a good power struggle book mixed in with a little bit of fantasy, this is a great book.
It was really well done. I really enjoyed reading this one. It kept you on your toes a lot more than the first one did. You're kind of thinking, you're like, what is everybody's plan? Because it's all Jude's point of view. So you have to kind of think with her on what is Maddox planning? What is everyone planning? Everybody, the different rulers of the different courts, what's their end game? What are they going to try to do? Are they going to be loyal? Are they going to break off?
Well, and you've also got, small characters clamoring for power.
Yeah.
And clamoring to get up there next in favor of the new High King Eldred. Of Elfame, I guess, not Eldred, of Elfame. And you've got a lot of power struggles you don't think are going to happen.
Yeah.
You've got characters that seem very calm, cool, collected, losing their minds here. So it was a really good book. I would give this definitely a solid 4, if not like a 4.2.
I'd agree. Higher than the first one. The first one was still very good. The first one was very world building and kind of showing you everybody's kind of origin story, which I enjoyed reading. But this, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
We're in the thick with the action.
Half the book to get the Cruel Prince. You took half the book to get into like the action, the fun stuff, like understanding what's going on. Whereas this one, you were just bam, you were in the middle of it. You were there from the get go, and you're going.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. If you did read the first one and you thought, I'm not sure if I'll read the second one, I say read the second one. My review is take the chance. It's 300 pages. I really enjoyed it. You get to see everybody's progression as well. You still have the betrayal, the strategy, and it really did. I already said it, but it did keep me on my toes.
I really enjoyed this one a lot. And I enjoyed that we're, getting to see different worlds in this one. I guess not different worlds, but different aspects of the fairy kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. With that, should we tell the people, if you haven't read this one or if you haven't read the first, back up and go to both?
Yes.
See you here in the second part of this episode?
Yes, I'm ready to get into it.
All right. I was really shocked by a lot of the character changes in this. I loved how Maddox and Jude's relationship changed, and Maddox finally had respect for her in this book. But it also terrified me for her.
Oh, agreed. Because it was respect, but he'd still talk down to her. So it was kind of like a fool me once, shame on me kind of, which is, I know is not the saying. I know that's not, but he was kind of like, okay, you got me there, girl. All right. 1 point to you. Understood.
We'll see you we'll team up for part 2, but part 3, you're on, y'all.
Yeah, like it was very much he recognized a good move, but there was a little respect, but it was still not total respect because he still talked to her like a child.
I could argue by the end of this, though, he had a lot of respect for her. By the time we got to Taryn's wedding, he had full respect, I felt like.
Yeah.
Maybe not full respect, but full respect for what you can for a child that you raised.
Yes, but he still betrayed her. He still got Taryn to trick her. Was that the wedding? I'm trying to remember the party at the end. Yes.
Yeah.
Where Carden was poisoned. Was that her wedding?
No, that wasn't the wedding.
Okay. Well, at the party, so not the wedding. The wedding was, because right after the wedding is when she was taken.
Yeah, the ghost was the one who took her.
Yes, the ghost took her during Taryn's wedding, and the party when she was back, Taryn and her dad betrayed her. They went and it's a spoiler. This is a spoiler part of the episode, but she was dealing with Baelkin and killing him, and she gets back to give Carden the antidote, and she realizes that Taryn posed as her to get Carden to let Maddox out of his loyalty treaty or loyalty promise. So Maddox was no longer bound to Carden or the kingdom. So he was able to go and take all of his loyal people, the people who wanted him in power, and he was able to go start his army. So it's another sister betrayal.
First off, 2 instances this happened in the series, maybe 3, where people didn't tell the difference between Taryn and Jude. And how do you not tell the difference? Like, Taryn is like so meek-milled, like very, shy into herself, very prim, proper. You got Jude stomping around like a little pissy little.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And I mean,
like there's a huge difference in.
There are, but I think they're good at playing each other. And also, Carden was still drugged.
That's true.
So Taryn just went in and was like, "Hey, can you relieve my dad? Like, I promise it's part of a bigger plan." Like pretending to be Jude and it being.
She's a big Carden's answer, because when did Jude ever say she liked Maddox before?
I don't know. The dude was drugged. Like when she got back, he was like, "You changed your clothes." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "You were just here." She was like, "I've been gone for an hour." And that's when she realized what happened. So it's a lot of backstabbing. And it just did not, I mean, that's the end of the book. So you got a lot between the beginning and there, but
yeah,
I just want to talk about the sister. Cause I mean, we both have sisters. And if you have a sister and you're listening and you have a good relationship with your sister, I could not forgive my sister.
Oh,
let alone for the lock thing in book 1, but this one.
And I find it interesting. Jude went to Vivi in the book, Jude is with Vivi. So I'm curious as to what Vivi is going to do at this point. Like, clearly, there's 3 sisters. There's not just 2. And you've got one that has constantly betrayed one of your sisters. Like, as a sister, I'm curious to see what Vivi's going to do in this.
I think Vivi is going to do what she always does. And because she's part Fae, right? So their emotions aren't the same.
Yeah.
And she can't lie. So I think she's just like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. And she'll try to stay out of it. But I think at this point you can't. Like, Taryn is actively hurting Jude at every turn she does.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll hear the reasoning behind everything in the 3rd one. But we start from the beginning. We jump to the end.
Did you see the ghost betraying her?
No.
I didn't either.
I thought it was going to be, because she was warned.
She was so
that someone has betrayed you. I couldn't think about who it was.
I really thought it was going to be like Maddox or something, but that was too obvious. So, I didn't know who it was going to be the whole time. Of course, it's the ghost, the one person who, I know you said this last episode that you liked him, but I don't like him because of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was pissed. I was like, really? This whole time? Just because you served him?
He just seemed like a little fatherly figure when she first came to the spies, and then he throws her to the Ocean Queen.
Yep. Yeah, that one sucked. I'm ready to
This
see.
whole series is just betrayal after betrayal.
I know. Like I said, it keeps you on your toes. Because when we get in, it's been a couple months. And
5 months.
yes, it's been 5 months. And Jude is still running the kingdom. And Carden is off being a party boy. He is just taking advantage of being king and not actually having to do anything. She's going to all the meetings. She's doing all the strategy. She's keeping him safe. She's running the spies.
And that power is going to her head.
It is. It is. She likes it so much. But she also has to deal with nobody else in the court liking her and liking the position of power she has, because nobody realizes that she has complete control over Carden. So she has to make sure nobody knows it, but also use it when she has to. But she's starting to feel a little bad because, her and Carden still hate each other, but they don't hate each other for real, for real. It's just, it's a big old tennis match between the two of them, of going back and forth between I love him, I hate him, I love him, I hate him. And it's getting a little old.
Pisses me off. I hate that. Woe is me picking of the flowers. Does he love me? Does he love me not?
I know. And it's like they're like, I can't admit that I like him. It's weakness. And you're like, come on. Really? That is not how emotions work. But yeah, so I mean, I feel like the beginning of the book is just her dealing with the kingdom. And there was the whole attack on Carden that he took the blame for, but it turns out that it was what's her name? His ex-lover that shot bolts at him. Yeah. And stabbed the other girl. I was
Talk
like,
about a jilted lover.
I know. Damn, you shooting people with big arrows because you wanted to surprise your ex-boyfriend in bed and you found him with another woman? You shot them?
I'm telling you, this series is messed up.
It is crazy.
We really need to message Holly. Be like, I need to know if your relationship's good.
Holly, you good girl? Like, you okay? Blink twice if you're okay.
Blink once if you're okay. Blink 3 times if you need out now.
Yeah, send help. Yeah, it's wild. That was wild. And the fact that Jude covered for her too. Ridiculous. Because then the original treaty between the sea and the land is that the Queen of the Sea wanted Carden to marry her daughter. So there would be that binding, and then her daughter would also be queen. And he's like, no, I don't want to. Especially after Jude does end up telling him that she's the one who shot at him. I do like that Carden, even though he is like a massive party fuckboy and controlled by Jude, he also still thinks for himself a little bit.
He does, but he doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, like it comes out at like the most just random moments.
And at the same time, it's usually at things that like he probably should not. Like when he almost accepted the cloak from the hag who almost like made him have to marry her or her daughter.
Like true. Like think things through, man. Aren't you Faye? Like you should figure it out.
Maybe you should listen to words a little carefully or more careful.
More careful.
I'm starting a new language, don't you know?
That's all right. We had a whole work day. So words are hard.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. But he's growing up a little bit. I feel like he takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Constantly. I just think he grew up his whole life being the villain and being just someone who didn't care. So he's just transferred that now that he's king.
I think it's interesting. At the end of the last book, you have mass chaos between everybody and everything and what it could possibly happen. But at this, it's like everybody's trying to ignore the mass chaos that's still happening. It's you've got seas sinking or land popping up out of nowhere, and like fairies just feeling drunk because the king is drunk. And you've got all this random stuff happening. Everybody's just like, it's a normal day.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I think they very much just they ignore it, out of sight, out of mind, kind of deal. For a lot of the Fae, they're like, well, you've got a king and he's got a council. They'll figure it out. But so this one really was just kind of a bunch of strategy. You got to see Jude kind of and her thirst for power grow. Her and Carden's relationship gets a little more complicated.
Yeah.
And Carden's also learning from the Roach the gift of the spies. He's learning some spy stuff that he wanted to. That was part of his deal at the end of book 1, is that he wanted the Roach to teach him. So it's a good filler book. There's a lot of stuff going on. It just doesn't really, and it's very interesting because, you do see Tarn and Locke get married and neither one of them's apologized still to Jude for making her look like an idiot, which is absolutely crazy. Like, I know Fae don't say thank you or sorry. They just have debts between people, but humans aren't like that. So I think Tarn should have apologized. I think it's absolutely insane that she didn't.
I'm still really annoyed at Tarn. Like, I really hate how she is in this book. I hate her in general. Like, I hate how she was with Locke in the first book and how she betrays her again in this book. And she's a sneaky little brown noser.
Yeah, Tarn was really getting on my nerves.
She's no good in her. I kind of want Jude to take care of her.
I don't think Jude could kill her.
I don't think so, but she could imprison her.
Yeah, I don't think Jude could kill her. Oh, what we do need to talk about is before Tarn and Locke's wedding, him hunting her down in the woods. He hunts Jude down as she's going to Maddox's estate to try to have some fun with her the night before his wedding. And the only reason she finds out it's him is because he's limping the next day. And I'm like, she didn't tell Tarn. She didn't tell Tarn because she didn't find out till the wedding, but she didn't even tell him when she got to the house that she was attacked, other than Vivi.
I think that's, she didn't know who was going to attack her, and she's still trying to figure out who was going to, at that point, betray her.
Yeah.
It was the ghost now, but the other thing is that, like, I think she knew at this point it didn't matter because Taryn just watched this man love her sister.
Yeah.
And mess around with her sister in front of her eyes, and she thinks, oh, well, he tracked me down. That's not going to change her.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Also just so used to keeping secrets at this point that even when something traumatic happens to her before she's going to hang out with her sister, she doesn't think that, like, oh, she should mention it.
Well, I don't think she wanted Maddox to know about it because Maddox was still very much going at her at that point.
Yeah, she thought she did think. Her thought process later was that she like crossed Maddox's name out because he wouldn't hire people who would have run away.
Exactly, when they had more numbers and had her down. Yeah.
So it was that was crazy. Because she got shot with the arrow. Because she was limping.
And she had to sew it up herself. Ouch.
Yeah. And Vivi just stood there and watched. I'm like, aren't you Fae? Aren't you supposed to be like immune to something? Can you help her somehow?
Could be like, I don't think she like can heal. I haven't heard of a Fae that just like magically heals you.
No, I don't think so she could heal her, but she acted like she was like grossed out. I was like, just come on.
Maybe they're just like us. Some people pass out at the sight of blood. Maybe she's one of them.
Yes. I guess. But yeah, so then the wedding is the next day and everything goes well. They go and they do their vows separately and it's just a big party and everybody's just dancing and mingling. And then the ghost comes to Jude and says, you need to come to the Tower of Forgetting with me. It's an emergency.
I hate how he does this and he takes her.
No, and she's like, oh crap, it's Balekin, like he's escaped or something's wrong, or like I thought the tower like got blown up
We
or
also talk
something.
about her saving Cardin's mom.
Yes, freeing Cardin's mom.
And correct me if I'm wrong, she still hasn't told Cardin that he's spoken to her mom.
Yeah, she keeps a lot of secrets. She's got a lot of secrets. I don't know if she knows how to actually tell the truth anymore. But so yeah,
Cardin knows if his mom is alive.
They never answer that question, I don't think. I don't think they ever answered the question if Cardin knew she was alive or not. But yeah, so the end of, technically they have book 1 and book 2. So the end of book 1 in this book is her passing out in the Tower of Forgetting.
I don't even think I read that it said book 1, book 2. I think I just read the poem and kept going.
Yeah. I think because they did it in the first one too. I just don't understand. I'm like, okay, it's a good page break, sure, but I don't know why there needs to be book
some
1.
of these authors, not Holly. Holly's been great, but like, there's some in our past, and I'm like, why did we get yeah, book 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Cool Prince.
Yeah. So then book 2 starts with her at the bottom of the ocean, and she's been kidnapped by the Queen and Balekin because she's mortal and she is at Cardin's side, and they think that they can influence her into being on their side because they're Fae and they can glamour her.
You know what I find so interesting about these books? They tell you immediately when things will start changing based on next to the numbers. So in the first book, next to the numbers, they had an acorn.
Yeah.
The acorn is how she figures out that Oak is her brother.
True.
And here they have the arrowhead. And that's when things start changing. She figures out Locke's hunting her, and that's right when the ghost kidnaps her. And that's when she learns that that's when it's going to be.
Is that an arrowhead or is that the poison?
That's the arrowhead.
Huh. Yeah. What's in the third one?
It may be poison. It looks like an arrowhead to me.
There's a different one in the third one. I'm not going to say what it is in case anybody listening doesn't want to know. But yeah, that is true. It is. It's something significant on the pages that you don't really think about, because I didn't even think about that till you said that.
I like pictures. Sometimes I'm just like, I keep looking at the picture on the chapters, and I'm like, that looks like something I would want to color.
I know. They would make good coloring pages. Yeah, so she's down there. Orlog is the queen's name. They're plotting to overthrow Cardin. They want Balekin on the throne. Balekin will marry Orlog's daughter, and the land and the sea will be joined. And Jude is down there starving, having to act like she's in this nice room when she knows she's not, because she can't be glamored. And she's down there for a month. And so they
barely getting food or water.
Barely, yeah. Because she's supposed to be thinking, they've glamored her to think that she's eating and drinking normally, and she's not. So she has to come up with ways to be like, oh, I just ate yesterday, but I feel so weak and tired. And that's when they'll bring the food. I did not like that Balekin made Jude kiss him. That was gross.
That's weird.
I didn't like it.
It's incestuous. This girl loves some incestuous things going on.
It was so gross.
And I find it interesting they ask about Maddox's strategy when they told her. They're asking a lot about Maddox, but they, why are they asking as much about Maddox as they are about Cardin?
I think it gives away that they don't know as much as they want her to think.
Yeah.
But so after them talking strategy with her, trying to glamour her into being their informant when they get back to the land, they make a bargain with Cardin. Cardin bargains to get them back. And so she goes back to the surface world, and she is super weak, super hurt. And so she sleeps for a couple days. Maddox takes her back home to rest up and to recover. But she, of course, being Jude and being who she is, she doesn't want to rest. She doesn't want to recover. She wants to go and talk to Carden because she's been down there and is not glamorous, so she knows everything and doesn't have to keep it a secret. So she's ready to just keep working because she's still his right hand at this point. She doesn't know she's been replaced. She's been gone for so long. She thinks Carden still hates her. So she doesn't know. She's thinking there's an extra plan of why they saved her.
It's interesting. I will say that it definitely takes a turn, especially when they get married as well. Like that's just like a huge turn.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so, yeah, Carden wants to be free of his bind to Jude. So he comes up with this exchange of, I'll marry you if you remove your power over me. And she thinks that it's a joke, and it's not a joke. And they get married right then and there. And all of these flowers start growing to recognize that the king has taken a queen. And then they immediately go to speak with, because this is after the party. This is after Carden's poison. This is after she kills Balkan and is betrayed by her sister again. And so they go down by the water. The queen of the sea is demanding justice for Jude having killed Balkan. And that's when Carden, now free of Jude's control, raises this island and shows everybody that he is the king. He has the power. He knows what he's doing. And the Queen of the Sea relents. And then Carden banishes Jude to the mortal world for killing his brother.
I'm ready to see Jude and Carden actually like each other.
I know. It's a slow burn. Their enemies to lover is a slow burn because they've made out a couple times. They've got feelings for each other.
It drives me nuts. Like, if you know you like somebody, just go for them.
I know. Like, you're the king. Like, just like her. It's not hard.
It's really not, guys. Like, well, it's not that hard. Just say it. Say what you mean with just out.
I know. It's just, this one was a lot. There was a lot going on. I feel like the last 50 pages, it was just slammed with.
Right, the last 50 pages are crazy, and I'm definitely rereading them.
As we're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, what all happened?
No, I'm over here like, whoa, wait a minute.
I know, you're like, I forgot about that. Because it is a quick read. And sometimes with me, when I read a book too quick, you kind of forget some stuff. But it was good. And I definitely suggest reading it. I suggest probably rereading it as well. So, but yeah, so this book ends with him banishing Jude to the mortal world. And in the epilogue, it's her at Vivi's apartment trying to figure out how to get back to the other world.
And it's interesting. Vivi is saying, well, we're going to get revenge on Carden for this. And I find it interesting. Are we going to be revenging in the third book? Or are we going to be loving in the third book? I think
well, she's going to have to find a way to get out of exile.
Yeah.
It's fun. So it was very good. You saw some characters grow up. I mean, the end, you see Maddox still scheming. He's taken an army. He is broken away from the High King. He's no longer loyal to the High King. So the next book is going to be very much just it's going to be the war. It's going to be the battle. It's going to be.
I bet that's what she read. She somehow gets back to Elfame right in the middle of the war. That's my prediction.
In the middle of the war?
Yeah. Maybe.
We'll find out. I've already read it.
I know. I'm trying to give fake predictions.
I will give nothing away.
I'm starting it tonight, so it'll be ready for next week.
It's good. I flew through it. This one's even shorter than that one. It's 305 pages, including the epilogue, if you've got the paper copy. So,
I do appreciate that this book it follows thick, thin, thinnest.
I know.
I'm so
It
used
does
to
wrap
that.
it up.
Thin, thick, 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 thick is thicker,
I
thicker.
know. I'm like, I don't need, just keep them all the same size, somewhat.
They just match pretty. Yeah.
They are really pretty. I'm really upset that my first one got wet. It just doesn't match.
We can get you a new one.
It's sad. But yeah, so I really liked the second one. It was a good way to see them deal with difficulties. Jude, you see her in a vulnerable state when she's kidnapped, when she's scared about her power going away, her trusting Carden and then getting exiled, which we all, Carden's the bad guy here in this Enemies to Lovers. So I didn't expect it. I will admit my jaw dropped when she was exiled. I was like, oh shit.
I can see it though, because we knew he was so mad at her for putting him on the throne.
I know. It was a good one. It was a good one, Holly. I appreciate it.
It was a good one. But I'm ready to wrap it up next week with The Queen of Nothing, which I have in my back room. I should have brought out here with me. But
like this. It's very pretty. As we know, each title or each cover book has had something involved. So we have a broken crown and a snake on the third one. So
which, gives a lot of tell about the ending of the book. This is how the ending of the book goes.
I know. Got to see. So this one, broken crown, growing plants, ice, and a snake. So I'm very excited to read it. Well, I've already read it. I'm very excited to talk about it. Wrapping this up will be a lot of fun. I think you'll like it.
I'm super excited. I know I'm going to read it so quickly. Like, it's going to be like a day read for me. So I'm so excited.
I know. It's going to be fun to talk about because it is.
Because I'm not going to go to bed when I start it tonight.
Normal. That's normal.
Normal. Who sleeps anymore?
Who sleeps anymore when you have a book? Nobody.
Awesome. Well, we'll hit Queen of Nothing. And then after that, don't forget we're going into Touch of Darkness series.
Yes.
Super excited for that one. I know, Kat, you've been on your seat for this one. So
I love Scarlet St. Clair. I read the Touch of Darkness is a Hades Persephone kind of retelling mythology fantasy that I love. Some Greek mythology. And so Touch of Darkness series is all Persephone's point of view. I have read the Hades point of view that she's written, and I really enjoyed those.
I haven't read the Hades. I need to do the Hades side.
Yeah, they're really good. They are very good. But there's 3 on the Hades side and there's 4 on the Persephone side because the 4th book, I think, is actually from both of their point of views and it wraps up the whole series. So I haven't read that one.
I'm super excited. I love Greek mythology. It always interests me. So I'm super excited. So I might be picking up a few extra books for vacation.
Do it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to us talk about The Wicked King. Join us next week when we talk about The Queen of Nothing. And we hope in between you have a great Memorial weekend and week. And just, I hope you guys get some rest because obviously we need it. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for listening.
Bye.